Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're looking at the third CYPHER, Solos from the 2023-2024 D.LEAGUE season. It is of round 7 and I have been having the time of my life, to say the least. I love this round so much for so many different reasons, and I do know with this, there is something we need to talk about real quick. It has to do with the duo round of the second CYPHER, Koze 8 Rocks. I went and looked back at their set as well as Lifeful, and I can understand why the judges gave them what they did. To a certain degree, I feel like with Lifeful, they definitely, I think my note I gave was they didn't quite have as much digestibility in their movement, but it doesn't discredit their complexity in their captivation and synchronicity. So that, for sure, that's probably something that definitely held out in the forefront. Koze, I think they were one of the most creative, if not the most creative, in their set in terms of how they thread, their partner work, their freestyle integration, their actual choreographic perspective integrated with their freestyles. So I think it makes sense. Now, do my notes still stay the same? I would still feel that way. I do think that, I know for myself, I do carry heavier weight in terms of musicality or being intentional with your music, and I think there's a chance that I was putting that more on the forefront of that round in comparison to the criteria, so that could also be why some of my placements were the way that they were, personally. But I was still very happy that at least Cyberagent and Valuance were in top 5. I definitely think that they definitely deserve to be in those upper ranks for their performances, for sure. So, for this one, I do know it's going to operate very similarly to round 1. Difference is the BPM is slightly different. For this one, it's going to be 90 to 110 BPM. Of course, that can influence who wants to go and participate in this round. I also know that no special performers are allowed in the solos, only members of D.LEAGUE. So, I do know that, and I also learned that in the bottom corner, whenever they give their stats, they show how many matches they participated in and what's their winning rate. So that I do know. Yes, it'll probably give away some of the results of round 6, but it is what it is. I think that's absolutely fine, and I'm definitely looking forward to this and kind of seeing what the results are going to be, because what I'm going to do is my outro is going to be seeing the results, we talk about it, it's going to be great, and I think without further ado, we're going to go ahead and check it out.
Hit me up. Who the fuck? CHOREOGRAPHER. What's time of getting ready?
Here we go.
Yeah. CHOREOGRAPHER.
Looks good. Going first is hard, because I know they had to draw lots too. Did pretty good. This is a pretty decent hopping track. Ooh, Valuance did not come to play this round.
Go.
Nice.
Who's the next? Hinata, Bokano Power Dreams.
That was cool. That was cool. They need to change the music every 3. So honestly, if you're 1, 4, 7, or 11, it's hard. Man, I feel like with the soloists, they cater more towards locking, so our second locker representing. But is this the most ideal track for him? His lot was not in his favor for this. I don't think. It kept him more internal, more isolated. Here's the thing, though. I appreciate what he's doing, though. All right. Okay. Okay. Ugh. That was fun. Ah, cool. Yeah? That was cool. That was cool. I think he was the best one out of everybody on that track. Oh. Oh. Woo. I like his fit. Ooh. Nice. That was a good round. That was a good round for him.
Let's go.
Bum, bum.
Okay, who's the man?
Wow.
Let's go.
Huh. Huh.
Next corner.
Yay.
Top of the roof. Corner, let's go.
Nice. This is a cool track. Okay, let's go.
こんばんは、クリストファーです。今週のランクイン、リブスパッティによる本曲、深夜のドラマにガテンが来まではないでしょう。ライトライダー。
Nice. She holds it down pretty well. I mean, when we're thinking about this round out of the three, this one does, being honest, feel the most underwhelming. Could be the BPM, not gonna lie. I don't know.
Cherry, give me on. Cherry, for benefit one on the wheels.
Oh. Okay, now we are. What we want now, this is what's up? Go, yo, son, Okay. So, like, being honest, I feel there wasn't... Yes, there were some people that, like, initially stood out, but there wasn't anybody that was, like, a clear victor in this, to me, personally. But let's go ahead and we're going to take just kind of an overview back here. So, like I said, I do know they do draw lots, so they don't control what order they go in. So Cyber Agent, I think he would have placed a lot higher. Like, he would place higher if he didn't have to go first on this track. But he caught it really, really well. Definitely taking that textbook fundamental approach with popping. It's a popping track. It definitely can help there. I like how he drives it over. Love his usage of letting his body carry him over in the transition. He's exploring through a concept. He's not just throwing concepts away. That's a really nice indicator of he's pretty familiar with his movement and exploring in freestyle. That was nice. Definitely allowing the pop to take the forefront in certain sections like that one for sure, but he's also taking breathable moments. So for me, that's definitely something that dives very well, or it works very well on a track like this for sure. There's that whoo that came in, he rode it out. So he should honestly, this performance right here, if he should be a top 5. Yeah, for being first too, I think just his very first, is very, his very first pop was a little off, but he caught it immediately. So I would put him, I'm gonna make a little list here. Yeah, he did pretty good for that. So I'm just making a note. Valuance also freaking slays. This was pretty low-key. I would put this in a top 3 for me. He writes his music so well. Like, with a twist of flex, my god. So that's catering more to breaking. No, oh my gosh, popping. Oh my gosh, Jess, use your brain. But yeah, notice he's doing a lot of stability checks. He's polyrhythmicizing everything. He's not throwing anything away. He's making everything a moment, or he's taking it and adding an extra level of risk to it as he transitions. I think it's so sick. But anyway, in the very beginning though, he did a whole little twist of flex moment. That was freaking sick. But also, so he was catering a little bit to that popping funk, but he's tailoring a lot of hip-hop rock and bounce within this, which is really, really nice. So, but yeah, they're there. Oh my god, that was so good. Yeah, and then just having this moment of branching over from side to side. Yep. Allowing his legs to infiltrate and influence what he does with his upper body. Super nice to see. Glasses said bye. Diving it down. Yeah. That was fun. That was a wonderful round from him. Personally, for me, I think that should be a top 3 out of the ones that we've seen. Balance, Infinities. Yeah, so I'm going to say top 3. There, Cyber, I'd give a top 5. Okay. Now, Hinata from Katakawa. So far, Katakawa has not done that great. I think he held it down the most out of the other 2 rounds. Yeah. This was cool. Yep, switching it through, really nice to see. He's digging it. Notice how he's building up his energy. He's allowing his upper body to help infiltrate what goes on in the lower half. That's definitely something that I noted about Valuance Infinities for sure. Digging it through. That was a really nice moment where he blended around. He created a fixed point with the arms. That was really sick. Letting that bleed behind him as well. Super cool. So you see the influence of the choreographic pocket they explore as Katakawa, but he does a pretty good job of exploring concepts and allowing them to fully realize that he doesn't cut them off. I think that's something I said about Cyber Agent. It's a really important skill to have when you do freestyle, is you don't want to throw things away. Yep, that there, he's grooving it out. This does feel like we're starting to become a little bit more simple, but that beginning section was really refined. But I love his patience. I love how he vibes. He gives Red Bull energy, like the Red Bull dancer style. That's what he gives. It's a fun vibe. I really liked what he did, so he'll get like an honorable mention for me. Just like his vibe. Now, from Avex Royal Brats. Here's the thing, he just got caught in the crossfire on his type of song. It doesn't work well with how his aesthetic or his approach to locking is. It's not matching, so I don't expect him to go very far or to rank pretty high here. But this beginning, I like the fact that he was trying to catch the beat. I just think that he took a very internalized approach. He kept to himself, is really the kind of vibe he gave. Trying to rely upon performance, maybe potentially a little too much to help with this. I can tell he was more on the insecure side of the track. You can see based on how he left, how he finished the set out. And that's something that, it always is helpful to at least fake it till you make it sometimes, and that's exactly what I think we saw here. So will I be shocked if he's in the top 5 spot? Yes. That right there, yeah. He probably doesn't feel like he did that great of a job. Okay, full cast razors. He did pretty good on this track. Out of everybody who was on this track, I think he did the best. Well, no, but yeah, Koze. So say Koze 8 Rocks freaking smashed on this too. So he did really good how he set it up. Setting it up from the lower body and then choosing to isolate it, building up the energy from the leg. Really nice to see. Really nice. He caught the beat pretty well there. Yeah, da-da-da-da. That was a nice moment there. Taking it through. Yeah, that right there. No. Yeah, so he's definitely taking a more creative approach to applying crump to the track. Yeah. Usage of materials. Gone with the chest. Love it. ISOs in check for sure. That was sick right there. That was a cool moment. Build up the energy a little bit more there. Takes his hat. Goes, he takes, he throws it. Koze grabs it. He's about to throw it away. He holds on to it. Yeah, so here's the thing too. I will say this. I do know he won MVD for the Cypher round. Out of all the sets I've seen so far from the Cyphers, is this my favorite? Personally, no. I don't know. No, with most valuable dancer. You tell me, is that an audience voted thing or is that like the judges pick? I don't know that information, or do the other members, the other people pick? I don't know who wins that. I'm assuming popularity in particular. For me, this was not the strongest Cypher I have seen from anyone. I think there's a couple from round 1 that I would say could definitely overtake this if this was placed in a different round, but I mean, to each his own. I think he held it down pretty well, and I do know with full cast as well that round 1 he did a pretty good job on trying to understand that music. Round 2 was a bit more unfortunate because of course with the hat. I think he matched the music closer here, but we all know too, full cast is not going to be dancing to crop tracks in the Cypher. It's just not. We haven't heard it. It's probably not going to be happening. But I could be very wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope that we get to see them shine on a crump track. You know, same with Benefit 1. I do hope that, you know, I think it was unfortunate on the type of track she was given and she had to work with, but it also shows the dynamics or the versatility of the dancers, being able to see what they can bring to the table whenever you have a track and play like this. So I do have a feeling, my gut would tell me that maybe he makes it in a top 5. Is that possible? Of course it's possible. You know, would this be a top 3 for me personally? I think so far, I mean, there's already 2 that I think held it down. Valiant especially really held it down on his track. And I think Koze does a really good job what's about to happen here. But, I mean, I understand, though, like, he definitely has really great movement and performance quality. So I could totally understand him getting MVD if he has a heavy fan base. So that's cool. And look, so this guy, yeah, that little mess right there. Ooh, now here's the thing. When you pull that, you got to hold it down. I think out of everybody, his setup was really, I mean, he had charisma. His setups were nice. His top rocks were great. Done. Yeah. Syncopation, oh my God. Love that choice of the footwork. In and out, great usage of range. There's charisma, exploration, understanding. We're hearing him hear his music. Right there in the floor work, really nice. So he did mostly top rocks or footwork. He hasn't really done like a ton of power moves or anything like that, which is totally fine. So he held it down pretty well. He wrote his music so well. It's very fortunate. This track fell into his lot. It works well with his range. Works well with his natural fingerprints of what he does with Koze. So honestly, he did a pretty good job considering he didn't really do a ton of breaking, and I don't know if that's his main wheelhouse for Koze. He did, I mean, this could pull a top 5 because he for me, also know I really care about music. And I think the ones that I'm noting that would be in my top are ones that really paid attention to the music, were intentional with the music, and you can see them make creative concessions and choices out of influence of that music. Because remember, everybody's of a high quality and high caliber. Yeah, some of them you can tell it's unfortunate what song they got pulled with, but also you see some where you can see we're right at home, and I'd say he's a pretty great example of working with this track for sure. He did a pretty good job. So part of me really enjoys the fact that we do have a BPM range on the solo, so they can plan accordingly and they can practice. I love that. Now, for her, she has really great groove, great bounce, great rock. Really love the swipe she did there. Those are really nice to see. You do notice she does tend to kind of reset by bouncing to the back. You know, even here, she's allowing the music to motivate her, which I really like, but do we feel like it may have been a little bit on the simpler side? She didn't quite explore as much syncopation, polyrhythmic intention on some of her movement outside of letting her torso infiltrate or initiate movement. This one's very interesting. I feel we're definitely building a character. Did it match the track? Not 100%. But I do like what he's presenting though. Like it's a nice vibe. I like how he digs into it. That's cool. Yep, contemporary, technical background because of how he gets in and out of his transitions, how he turns, very stable. Little, nice little, not fleet hop. Is that what it's called, fleet hop? Maybe, I could be wrong. My apologies, but honestly, I like how he's allowing his chest to really allow this pool of energy. That was a nice moment he did. I feel like I know it was supposed to be impactful on that, but it also feels like we're trying to tell a story, but the story, because we don't have proper context of music, is not as helpful to hear or understand. And that's the risk you run sometimes in battles like this. Do I think he'll make top 5? Potentially not. But I do appreciate it. I like his movement quality in general. It was fun. Now, I like he also did a really great job on his track. So if we're going, side note, if we're going off of who did great, like the best on their track, I think, honestly, CYPHER did great, Valuance did great on their track. I'd say out of those who did, I think it was that second track, I'd say Full Cast held it down to the most ideal on that track. Koze held it pretty good out of those that participated on his track. And I would say Sega Sammy did well on his track as well. So I feel like if you're gonna pick a top based off the song, like who hit it the best on their song, that's a potential option, but I know that's not a criteria. I like how he builds it. It is nice. I think that was a nice moment where he allowed that risk to hinge it out and have those isolations take place. That was cool. And then right there into a little baby Steve Martin, nice little kick. Kickball changes with I love the crosses. Those were nice, a little bit of maybe even a light beat influence, but not even enough to equate it to that. Love a little integration of popping, super nice to see, but notice we continue to kind of do that little reset with the crisscross there. That'd be my little note. You want to kind of avoid using your go-tos, and I think that was what happened with, was it Dip Battles? Possibly, I think. That was my note for her. Was her groove wasn't quite as exploratory, but I think he did pretty okay. I think he could have made some more creative concessions, but he held it down to the music pretty well. She's setting it up. I love it whenever people have enough confidence to allow themselves to mesh within the music. We also have a lot of younger dancers participating in this match in particular, like in this round. That was nice. It kind of looked like she was building off a little bit what Sega did, but she's elevating it in terms of her range and her legato grooves, which is kind of cool. I like that she goes front to back and then she stopped it and progressed it up. So she's showing a nice variety. So she's grooving it out well. She should play pretty decently. Do I think it's a top 3? Possibly not. But I like her choice of listening, allowing the music to influence what she does. I always appreciate when people do that, because that is such a hard thing as a choreography field individual. It's hard to allow yourself that liberty to just let the music influence you and not have to have something pre-prepared. So she did a pretty good job. Is that top 3? I don't think so, because it definitely felt a little bit more. It was a choreographic ambidextrous kind of groove pocket where, you know, when you go front to back, there was a lot of neutralized positions or resets, and that's one indicator of how you can tell somebody who's not, their forefront is not freestyle in comparison to others. Those who have a fluency within freestyle and exploration of movement, they don't reset the same way. And that's just like a little fingerprint. The reason why I'm able to pick up on it is because I used to struggle with that, and I continue to struggle with that. As somebody with a heavy choreography background. So that's why I'm just more sensitive to it. Now, does that discredit what they brought? Absolutely not. But whenever you're up against, you know, world-class, like freestylers, like those who could freestyle immensely, and they hold it down really, really well, and that's part of their implicit knowledge and base of information, you can tell the difference, and that's kind of one thing you can look at. If you're not sure, you know. So I like how, you know, she's setting it up, creating nice essence, and then from here, supposedly typically you would kind of pop off, but of course she's still listening to your music. Here we go. Do I feel like she's listening to her music? That beginning set, we weren't able to hear exactly where she was hitting there, so it kind of felt like we were just diving into more complexity in sequence. But I like her usage of using her limbs to create really nice abstract positions. It's fun. But once again, now look, she's digging down. This is like her go-to pocket right here with this legato, snaking kind of vibes. And honestly, with Mondelez, you notice in round 1, she kind of did something similar to that, but faced the opposite way, so I find that funny. She did pretty good. Yep, right there. So that's another thing, too. She does tend to do more of that legato with the wave, more lanky approach with her extremities. So potentially not top 5 because of not really integrating within the music. Music matters, maybe not as much in this adjudication process as I care about it for. Notice he's building it up, breaking it down. Really nice to see that. He's exploring through movement. Woo! His range is sick on this. Love how he has, it looks like he kind of jammed throughout that groove. That was really cool. His range is sick. You see he's just going for floor to going up. Stability. He's taking risks. You can tell he's used to taking risks while exploring movement. Choreographically, a lot of times we do prep work for that. But in freestyle, you just have to go for it and fail. You see a lot of trial and error fluency here, right? Which is why he's able to have a more consistent run. Look, that whole time, he didn't really repeat anything. Everything that he's done is pretty much just building off of the music what the music is calling for, which is different. Like, he didn't really have to think through that. Like, a lot of people felt like they had to prep it. So he could be a top 5 for that, potentially. I've been wrong with their placement the whole time, so we'll see. Now, she did a pretty good job. She's allowing the music to build it. Building it up. Her range is nice. That was nice. She's saying it very more like reserved approach, and I'm kind of vibing with it just personally. It's fun. But you can also tell her go-to is gonna this legato kind of wave to bleed it up, and she keeps a lot of her attention with her hand here, and that's kind of her go-to exploration vibes. And for me, I do the same thing. I'm very similar in that way, but mine's more isolated to waving. But I like her choice though of writing it out. She's doing pretty good. Top 5, I don't know. I don't think so. But I really like this. That should be a 6. That should be a 6 to 10 though. Pretty easy. 6 to 10. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. I've been so wrong before. I don't even have that much confidence now, but that's okay. Remember, this is more so in good fun for me. I'm not really holding much weight to this. This is just what I saw and what my personal notes were. I do know I feel like I didn't really describe or explain as effectively as I could as to why certain members I think I would pick over others if you are doing a comparison. But I know they do it off of a point value system here, so I feel, I don't know. I'm assuming that judges, while they're dancing, judges make notes. We'll see though. But if I were to pick a top 5, I would say Cyber Agent and Valuance, I think should be top 5. Valuance, I think top 3 for sure. I think Koze did a pretty good job on their set with their song. I think that could give them a top 5 potentially. So Hinata held it down pretty well. I could tell though we still had more of that choreographic and toolkit implemented in it, but he wrote it out and made really nice choices. So that's why I was like possibly, maybe 5 or 6. Sega did a pretty freaking great job. He did pretty good. It could have been a little bit too simple. He was repeating pockets, just like some other people were, but he wrote the music really well, and I think that's why I would feel that they could possibly place high. But the one that I have pretty big confidence in would be Valuance for sure. I think out of anybody, they're the most consistent, and honestly, I hope that they win. I think the points would be great for them. Also, I know they didn't have a match. They weren't a part of round 6, so I think they're the most well-rested out of everybody here. I'd say DYM had a pretty good set in terms of exploration. Definitely matched the vibe of the track pretty well. So I guess if I were just for funsies, Cyber did pretty good too. Fundamental approach. I'd say Valuance. I also think Full Cast could probably be top 5. I know part of that is my influence of knowing that he was the MVD of it. So do I think he should get first? I don't think he should get the highest score, but I do think it would be fine if he was in top 5 though. I'd say Valuance, Full Cast. I'll even say I'll throw Cyber in there. I think he held it down pretty well. I think DYN did pretty good. Yeah, like really good. Say I liked Koze's set too. And I'll say throw in, ooh, who am I going to pick? Am I going to pick Sega Sammy or am I going to pick Katakawa for this? Let's be honest, a wild card. Let's throw Katakawa. I actually liked what he did. It was pretty good. I mean, did anything like stand out immensely? No, I don't think so. Maybe that's why he probably wouldn't. But okay, this insecure individual who just watched this, I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't know how they're going to rank this. I think that's why. It's because a lot of people are kind of like this in terms of how they were writing the music. There wasn't any like, oh my gosh, moments about it. So it's actually really hard for me to rank this for myself personally. So we're gonna go take a look and see how they did. Okay, I went and took a look, and I'm not as off as I was before in round 2, but I also had more of like a preparation, a little bit more. DYM, yeah, I'm glad DYM was in top 5 for that. He did a freaking great set. Koze, he did really well. Especially, it's just. Syncopation was really nice. Sega, I mean, I told you guys, for me it was kind of a toss-up with between Sega and Katakawa, honestly, but I totally think that's fine. the shocker for me was that Valuance was as low as they were. I really enjoyed what he brought. I thought it definitely matched the overall aesthetic of the track so well. He freaking brought it, you know? So I definitely am surprised by that ranking specifically. So, and also know, once again, because this is my first Cypher round with D.LEAGUE, I don't know who the judges are, or I don't know how they judged it in terms of like feedback side. I do know the criteria, but also some people weigh certain parts of their criteria heavier than others. Like, that's just how it is, you know. And for me, I've said, for me, music plays a way bigger role in how I would justify scoring, because music is the majority of my scope focus and what I continue to research and study and educate myself regarding, in how to connect to music more, and how styles regulate themselves within music as well. Like, so I know for me, I mean, I would take my own personal ranking with a grain of salt. Just like, you know, at the end of the day, I do know this is just one Cypher out of 5, and the goal is who has the best of 5 in terms of the overall points. And they're the ones that the ranking does matter, where you get a certain number of points for your team. And for me, like I said, I'm hoping for Valuance to pull out for a win on this, because I think they've held it down the most consistent out of all the teams. Personally, I think Cyber's coming in there pretty hot as well. But of course, we'll have to see the other Cypher rounds in order to make that assumption. Also remember, I'm more of I'm a choreographer and an educator, not really a battle judge. So I'm pretty good on a layman side, but I'm still very much growing and learning. I don't have as much of an empathetic lens to empathizing with how freestyle exploration constructs. I don't have all of these all of these accolades within battles. I mean, I do organizing for battle events, and I just have a lot of conversation with people who do it, so I have an empathetic ear. So I have that kind of knowledge, but not firsthand as much. So please keep that in mind. And I'm really excited to continue watching, because this is just so fun. It's different than all the other things that we see within D.LEAGUE, and I think that the next round, I think, is the trio. And then you got one more final solo, and that the BPM's gonna be way higher. So I think all that to say, I think I'm pretty pumped, excited for the discussions on this. What are your thoughts if you watched it live, or if you heard the results from the judges, things like that? What are your thoughts? Were your picks the same as mine? Were they different? I'm just curious. Once again, I'm Jess. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye!